Willkommen to Inside the Video Store, episode 15. Cue me saying how wonderful it is to be here, and I can't believe you're still watching. And episode 15, isn't that crazy? Good week, coming, interesting week. We were hoping to do a little spaghetti western thing, weren't we? But to be honest, I don't think we're going to have time for that, which is nuts, because even though last week I said, right, that's it, I'm going to get all the new deliveries out the way, that's going to be it, no more. We've got another delivery, another box to open, so we'll have a little look inside the box very shortly. And we have a few surprising things, which should be quite fun. Anyway, let's get cracking. We have some good fresh produce in. We've got about 5 brand new films that are coming out this week in the UK, and some good boutique releases as well, some exciting boutique releases. So let's have a quick look. The lead film is undoubtedly this. I mean, this looks absolutely incredible. This is a special one. This is a special one. It's already been welcomed with open arms to the Criterion Collection this week. I think it was announced at the start of the week. It's a film by Andrew Hay, the British director, which has been met with rapturous acclaim, including director Edgar Wright, no less, who stated that he is in absolute awe of what Andrew has accomplished with this movie. A big fan of Andrew Hay. I'd certainly recommend his previous films like Lean on Pete, 45 Years, and also one of my favourite films of all time, which is Weekend, with Tom Cullen and Chris New, which is just a spectacular film from 2011. So yeah, All of Us Are Strangers is out this week in the UK and could well be one of the films of the year. So very excited about that. Next up we have Immaculate, which ironically is a horror film not from Blumhouse. It's fresh from the multiplex, where it did reap a pretty good return on a modest $9 million budget. I think it took about 27 million at the box office. It tells the story of a young nun, another nun horror. We haven't seen many of those, have we? Who's offered a role in a convent in the Italian countryside. When she gets there, lo and behold, she discovers that the convent harbours some terrifying secrets. Production actually started way back in 2014 on this film, but it soon slipped into development hell. But alas, it is revived and revitalised and filmed, and it's here. And to be honest, it looks okay. I notice it also has an 18 certificate, very rare for a film to get an 18 certificate these days. Certainly rarer than it was 20 or 30 years ago. I wonder what the percentage of 18s are now compared to previous years. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Maybe not. Next up we have Mother's Instinct, a psychological thriller that stars Jessica Chastain and Anne Hathaway. It's a remake of the 2018 Belgian film Dwells. Set in the 60s, a tragic accident will change the lives of 2 housewives forever. It got fairly mediocre reviews, to be honest, with a few people calling it a lifetime movie with A-listers. Nevertheless, it looks like a good little thriller, and an easy 90-minute watch that you can stick on when your brain doesn't want to do too many exercises. Next up we have Nicolas Cage's new film, Butcher's Crossing. It's an American Western based on the 1960 novel by John Edward Williams, which finds an Ivy League dropout heading into the Colorado wilderness to join a team of buffalo hunters. It did get a limited theatrical release in the USA, but in my mind, I don't think with Nicolas Cage in right now, it is worth checking out. He's on a tremendous run, isn't he? You know, when you think of the films he's released in the last 3 or 4 years, you know, especially after that astonishingly bad run about 6 or 7 years ago, where there was a line of direct-to-video clunkers, but now he's making incredible choices. So yeah, that's well worth checking out. This is an interesting one. It's our final brand new contemporary release. It's a new film by the Coen brothers. Sorry, the Coen brother, because we have Ethan without Joel on this, with a screenplay that he wrote with his wife, Trisha Cook. This sees two lesbians on a road trip and on the run from a gang of monsters. Believe it or not, this was actually announced in 2007 as Drive Away Dykes. I kind of prefer that, to be honest. And to be directed by Alison Anders. It never materialised, obviously. Critical response has been a little bit mixed, although the review that Slant did on the film cited Bruce LaBruce, John Waters and Greg Araki as influences. So, I mean, you know, what more do you need? And incidentally, did you see that Greg Araki announcement this week as part of the Criterion Collection? At last we are getting those early 3 Greg Araki films on Blu-ray, so rejoice. Not yet announced for the UK, but hopefully that will be forthcoming. We shall see. But this is a great release from Universal. You know, you've got a hard box outer, complete with art cards, a booklet. I mean, a booklet for a contemporary release. Is this the new way forward? Is this the new way of doing things? Maybe it is, because I think that's a great idea. And then we have a dual format Blu-ray and DVD. I think that's excellent. Obviously, a little bit more than the usual release price. It was $19.99, but I would pay $19.99 for a well curated release of a contemporary movie. I think that's absolutely fair. And yeah, I think that's very exciting. I'm looking forward to watching that. It looks like my cup of tea. On to the boutique releases. We have the Valiant Red Peony. I've been calling this the Valiant Red Pony all day. Valiant Red Peony, Red Peony Gambler 1 to 3. I think there's about 8 film in this series, but this is the first 3. Yakuza film that influenced such cult favourites as Lady Snowblood and also Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill. It goes directly into the Masters of Cinema collection, and yeah, if you like your Yakuza films, this looks the bee's knees. Good stuff. Next up, we have the 3 out of 4 indicator releases for this week. The 4th didn't really float my boat so much. We had The Shop at Sly Corner, which is a British crime classic revolving around the theme of blackmail. We have The Whole Truth, which is a murder mystery set on the French Riviera, no less, which looks terrific, with Stuart Granger and Donna Reed. And then finally we have Obsession, directed by Edward Dmytryk, which kind of has a storyline that centres around an affair, a kidnap, and a bath of battery acid. Just the usual wholesome stuff for 1949. But they look great. They look all excellent little thrillers. That is precisely what you love from Indicator. And finally, this is just tremendous, isn't it? The Flesh and Blood Show, the horror films of Pete Walker. I mean, what a box set. Well, I did some research today. Because 88 invited us to take part on this. And I looked at the date that we got that text message, and it was November 2021. So this has been nearly 3 years in the making, which is just phenomenal. We said no, funnily enough, because we are no Pete Walker experts, and there's far more qualified people out there to do extra work on this, be it commentaries or video essays and stuff. So more than happy to relinquish that responsibility. And there are some fine people on this, be it Sam Dean, Kim Newman, Barry Forshaw, Jonathan Rigby, Kevin Lyons, etc. So yeah, they have found the right people to curate this, and it is a wonderful set. Pete Walker, they released some of his erotic films last year that were great, but these are what he's known for. Films like The Comeback, Schizo, House of Mortal Sin, Frightmare, Die Screaming Marianne, House of Whipcord, and of course The Flesh and Blood Show. Just tremendous, all on individual cases, with the 7 films. It's packed with special features and extras, and I think it's a really good price, to be honest. It's what they're asking for it, 75 quid, which isn't bad, you know, considering you've got the thing coming out from Cauldron, which is that's the House of Clocks, etc., etc. box set, which is Lucio Fulci and Umberto Lenzi, where they did 2 TV movies each. I think Cauldron are charging $95 for that. So I think for 7 films, this is a bargain. And it is just a wonderful set, wonderful artwork, wonderfully packaged, and yeah, one of the best releases of the year. And it's finally here. Finally here. Lots of delays, but it's here. And that is this week's new arrivals. Huge mushrooms. Let's have a look at what's been on loan this week, which is pretty good, to be honest. A pretty good range of films. Another busy week. This is one of the best films in my LGBTQIA plus section. It's Get Real, and it is one of the best films that's there. But frustratingly, maddeningly, we're still stuck on an import DVD, first generation import DVD from Holland, I think it is. Yeah. And it is crazy that this film hasn't seen the light of day on any format. We've got Beautiful Thing here on lovely Blu-ray from the BFI, but I don't know if the rights are tied up somewhere, but it's crazy. But anyway, really thrilled to see that going out on loan, because it's a wonderful, wonderful film. I'm so pleased that someone's rated my BFI Flipside section today, because there are some really cool films there. I mean, Herostratus is fairly interesting, but you know, this is one of the best. This is one of the things that the BFI Flipside are doing. I mean, this film has been unseen since its limited release in 1967. You know, a visual style evident in the most celebrated work of such notable directors as Stanley Kubrick, Nicholas Roeg, and Michael Winner. Brilliant. It's so good to see such niche left field films renting out and people picking them with such excitement. It's really good. But the BFI Flipside is kind of like the great untapped section in this story. I wish more people would take a browse through it. But then again, that's my responsibility to handcuff them and sort of press their nose against it. So I shall do that for next week. I think we mentioned this on the show before, Miss 45 being out on loan, but again, it's great to see. Jake rented it, who we know well, and he said it's the first film. I think he's been coming here just under 2 years maybe, and it's the first film he's rented twice. So yeah, nod to Miss 45, and gives me an opportunity to show you this gorgeous soundtrack that I picked up for Miss 45, which is absolutely fantastic. It's on the Death Waltz label, and it's a beautiful black and white snake effect vinyl, and it's a great soundtrack by Joe Delia, which is wonderful. Thoroughly recommend that if you like a bit of VINYL. Next up we have Frogs, which came out from 88, not that long ago. But one of my customers popped in and spotted it and felt compelled to rent it because it's now out of print. And not only is it out of print, but it's in CEX, which is, you know, a kind of UK-based pawn shop. That's PAWN, not PORN. Selling for like 20, 22, 23 quid, which goes to show you it is a rare commodity nowadays. But yeah, Frogs. There we go. Good to see that going out. I do love the creature feature. Bates has gone out this week, which is very cool. Again, like I say, I love it when people take niche stuff, and Bates has been unbelievably popular since it came in. And when you think of people renting a black and white film set among the fishing community in Cornwall, that is fairly niche, but people love it, and it's a great film by Mark Jenkin. And as Mark Kermode says on the front, a genuine modern masterpiece. Isn't Clue great fun? I've got a lady coming in at the moment who's Well, she started off a few months back. She said, I'm going to rent films that I used to watch as a kid for my kids to kind of show. They're all teenagers, to show them what I liked. And it's one of those where you kind of think, well, kids today, they're probably not going to be into stuff like The Breakfast Club and, Sweet 16 and things like that. But she's been back every week, and they've absolutely been loving her picks. And she was a bit stuck this week, and I said, well, you must rent Clue. It's one of the great films of the 80s, and it's such fun. So she rented it, and I really do hope they like it. But yeah, Dream Demon went out this week. Mr. Gaz took it, and it's one of those sometimes where I'm losing my grip on what I have here. It's all on a database. With a grab of my phone, I can find out exactly where things are and what I have. But Gaz came in and he was reminiscing about like British horror films. He was saying, "Do you ever see that British horror film called Dream Demon? I'd love to see that again." And I did a search on Amazon for it, and I'm like, that kind of looks familiar. And it says I bought it 4 years ago. Couldn't remember for the life of me. But yeah, I checked the database, and there it was in the error section, which is just bizarre. You do forget what you buy. Before my database, I used to buy things, replicas of things again and again and again, because you're at home and you're not in the shop and you can't double check the shelf. And always I used to pick things up, or I'd have what was the film? Something as innocuous as Brassed Off with Pete Postlethwaite. I had a copy in the indie section because it was film 4, and a copy in the regular B section. And I think, I've got 2 copies of that. And people point things out, why you got 2 copies of that? Crazy. But you do forget, and I guess with 16,200 films, I guess I do have an excuse, but, still. Well Done a Wire went out today. Rainer Werner Fassbinder, which is great to see. I've got a young man who is obsessed with cyberpunk, and it was great to hear him talk about his obsession today, what he's been watching and what he hopes to watch and what he's going to write about, because he's a really ambitious young writer. So that's really cool. So really interested to see what he thinks of this. It is a bit of a chore. I think it was a TV movie originally, wasn't it? But it's over 3 hours in duration. So yeah, this should be really interesting to see what he thinks about that. Which is one of the most exciting things, isn't it? When people bring things back, and then you let them loose with their thoughts. It is really cool. So yeah, we shall see. But that has been a little glimpse at what's been on loan this week. Another eclectic week of choices, and I'm sure next week will be completely different. As I said, we have a box to look in, and yeah, more stuff. It never ends. Although, quite surprisingly, I did put away everything that came in last week quite speedily, to be honest. So it just goes to show that I do have a little bit of room left. But that is always a panic in case, what happens when shelf space becomes a premium. But we're doing all right at the moment, Now, isn't it funny, like, how you collect a filmmaker, and sometimes you can ignore the most obvious film in their career. And I mean, Jess Franco directed a lot of films, but probably his most notorious film is Vampiros Lesbos. Didn't have it. Someone came in for it. Rob came in for it. Didn't have it. Just bizarre, isn't it? The most obvious film, the most glaring film in a filmmaker's resume, didn't have it. Weird. Anyway, got it now. Severin 2-disc special edition, which is kind of cool because it has a disc 2. You've got Las Vampiras, the alternate Spanish language bootleg. Sounds amazing. But yeah, really great to have that film in. One of you recommended this, so here it is. We have The Third Day with George Peppard, directed by Jack Smite, part of the Warner Archive collection. So yeah, one of you recommended this, so I'm looking forward to checking it out. Big George Peppard fan. Another film here connected with the show. We have The Deliberate Stranger. Remember talking about that the other week? We were saying about the Ted Bundy film. A few of you mentioned it. A few of you said, well, one of you said it's not available anywhere. But thankfully, we have it now. Warner Archive, DVD, double disc. Yeah, 188 minutes with the great Mark Harmon. And Emmett Walsh. Brilliant. But yeah, I mean, this is one of the best TV movies about a serial killer, isn't it? So good. It would be great to watch this again. I don't think I've seen it since I caught it late night on BBC. Maybe. Must be 30 years ago, mustn't it? Crazy. But yeah, really thrilled to have this in. This was a customer request. Mr. Rob asked for this, written and directed by Bob Fosse, rather. Mariel Hemingway and Eric Roberts. Yeah, I don't know much about it, but if your man says it's worth picking up. Similarly for this got asked for by a customer. I don't know who. Peter Bogdanovich directed it, and all I've been doing in this last few months is transcribing interviews with people for the Gary Graver book, and so many people have just absolutely trashed the personality of Peter Bogdanovich in various ways about how envious he was of Gary Graver and all this kind of thing, and how such an egotistical man he was. But nevertheless, he made some good films with Polly Platt. This hasn't got Polly Platt attached to it, but is regarded quite highly anyway. What's Up, Doc? So looking forward to that. One of the new Warner Archive releases is this one, The Mask of Fu Manchu, Boris Karloff. Yeah, I don't know much about this. Well, we all know about Fu Manchu, but and we've got the Fu Manchu box from someone. Is it? Did indicate the release of Fu Manchu box? I think they did. But yeah, this looks pretty cool. But anything with Boris Karloff is essentially pretty cool. 1932 looks good. Also, we've got the new Film Masters release. I mean, Film Masters are putting out some amazing releases on. You know the other ones, don't you? The stuff like The Beast from the Haunted Cave, The Devil's Partner. There's more down there. But yeah, some really cool stuff. Always immaculately curated with some great talking heads. And this is the new one. It's Tormented. It's from Bert I. Gordon, of course, was famous for doing some creature features and stuff in the 50s. But this sounds really cool. This is from 1960. And yeah, sounds absolutely terrifying, to be honest. So yeah, really cool. And it's absolutely packed with special features here. So this is a really cool film to have. Next up, we've got a pair. I know these both could be in the Severin sale, which is coming in mid-July, but they're only $20 a piece. So I thought, yeah, we'll have a go. It's Hotspur and The Scavengers, two very exploitative westerns from Lee Frost and Bob Cressy. Bob Cressy. Which both sound amazing. Which came first? Was it this one, wasn't it? Yeah, Hotspur, which has one of my favourite actors of all time, and John Alderman, in a lot of Gary Graver films. But they both look absolutely sleazy and wonderful, and yeah, both look great. So we love a bit of exploitation, and from a Western point of view, this should be a great double bill to watch at some point. So yeah, very excited about those. And finally, I know I've spoken about John Sayles a few times, and the lack of representation, especially in this country, or prior to Lone Star coming out on the Criterion Collection, we had very, very few John Sayles films. Matter from 88 films, but apart from that, there's some first generation DVDs, and that's it. It's grim. But thankfully, let's praise be. I know we don't praise the studios very often, but let's praise be to Sony, who have released City of Hope. It's an American release of a film that's never had a British release in any capacity, I don't think, maybe video. But yeah, now we have it on Blu-ray, American Blu-ray, but it's region free. So that is very, very cool. And of course it stars Tony LoBianco, who of course died this week, was it? Or was it the end of last week? But either way, what an actor he was in so many cool Larry Cohen films. But this has got a great cast: Vincent Spano, Joe Morton, David Strathairn, Angela Bassett, Lawrence Tierney. So yeah, very political, of course, but it would be, being a John Sayles movie. Can't wait to see that. And hopefully the addition of this to my ever-expanding John Sayles section should hopefully draw more people to check out this wonderful, wonderful filmmaker. So that is another What's in the Box, and hopefully the final What's in the Box for a few weeks while we quit the outgoings for a while and let's have some incomings in the financial department. But yeah, another great stack of films. Good.
Action. Hello, Dave.
Hello. Something special today. We have 3 wonderful, talented guests on the show. We have Aaron, Luke, Tyler, all here, who are shooting a really exciting video. Aaron, what are we doing?
What we're doing is basically film a little promotional video for you. And yeah, making it as exciting as possible.
Yeah.
Nice, bright and colourful, and hopefully using a bit of animation as well to make it more interesting.
So who have we had here? We had like an actress that you had?
Yeah. So we had Victoria, and she's from London, with an American accent, born in England.
Yeah.
So
Get that
very
right.
interesting.
Cool.
And yeah, she's been great.
So why animation? Why are we doing the animation? Because like, is that something that you want to do, or is it something you feel that will give the piece a bit more kind of?
I think it was to experiment. We wanted to try and delve into a different field, because Aaron's really good at drawing, and I'm going to say decent at After Effects, and we want to try and mix it. So that's one of our hopes.
Basically, it's about combining all our skills so that we can just push ourselves and make sure we're progressing, so that when we get to more bigger clients and more bigger standards, we're ready and we'll have the skills ready. So for example, even with Luke, he's going to be doing the score and music. Hopefully.
What you got in mind? Something like
synthwave.
Bit of John Carpenter kind of vibes. I like that. That'll be good. That'll be good.
Yeah.
So like, these are your storyboards, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
Which are just frankly insane.
He's such a good artist.
Yeah.
They are. They're absolutely nuts. They're crazy. But yeah, brilliant, amazing. But you're happy with the way it went?
Very happy, very happy. Obviously, there's things that could have gone better. Such as, got here, we might have rented out the wrong lighting. Might have rented out wrong things, wrong tripod. But overall, the process of, having people show up on time, having a system, having roles, it all went fantastically, which in past projects it hasn't gone as smoothly.
I think also one of the biggest things is working with someone that we're not familiar with. Like we had a complete hiring process. We went through all the
actresses and
potential people that we could hire on, and it was a good insight. And because that's in our uni, John Moore's, they like try and use all this stuff instead of using your friends, and it's like, because if we do this more, it becomes more natural.
Because in college it'd be get a group of friends who wants to be in it, show this is what we're filming and show up. But now that we're trying to get, be more professional about it and go about it in a more professional way, we have to get recce's done, scripts, location scouting, talking with wherever we want to shoot, hiring the actress, making sure that they're okay, figuring out payments. So it's a big process, but that's what we have to do now.
It's all in the can. What's the biggest challenge now?
Moving forward.
Yeah.
Animation, probably for you.
Yeah.
For me, yeah. But do you mean overall?
No, but
in this project
before completion, before you sign it off, what's the biggest challenge?
Make sure that you're happy with
it.
I'm always happy.
I think it will be the edit, because there'll be probably loads of revisions. So Aaron probably, let's say, do a 10-second scene, and he's like, how do this look? And then I might be like, maybe this change, Luke might say this, or whatever the case is, and then it's just narrowing down the vision.
Yeah.
But hopefully we don't have to do that as much, because once you get into the animation process, once you've started animating and you get deep into a scene, there's not really much you can go to backtrack because it's all melted in.
That's fair enough.
So our process is going to be rotoscoping. So we know what we're seeing before we actually put pen to paper, as you may say. So we're going to get an actress, not Victoria, because we don't want to have her make the long travel again, but fill in as our sort of digital double, so we can rotoscope over the top and get know the shots we want to get, and hopefully combine the After Effects, the Photoshop, the animate, and the music all together to make it exciting.
Very cool. So what's your time frame?
3 months from now is roughly what we're thinking about, because it's going to take a while. 3 months is our hopeful deadline.
It would go quicker if more of us can draw, but Aaron's just super good at it, so...
Pressure's on you.
Pressure's on me for now,
Right, well, thank you. Go on.
Sorry, I was just going to say, but in that 3 months we'll probably do other projects.
Yeah.
Expand
Fill
our
the time up,
knowledge.
It'll just be late nights for me.
You're used to it.
I'm used to it.
Nothing new.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you
really
very much.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
And let's see. And we'll have the premiere
Here.
on Inside the Video Store.
Have to rent a red carpet out.
We will.
Yeah.
We'll do
I'll
that.
bring
Yeah.
popcorn.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's really good to spend some time with the guys today. They're so great. They're so talented. We're a generation, if you're around my age, where we spend most of our time knocking sort of the next generation of kids and how useless they are. But these three guys are just brilliant. They're super talented, so ambitious, and their skills, their technical skills with regard to filmmaking, and as you can see, animation is just remarkable. So really excited to see what they'll come up with. So and you'll see it here first, of course. Let's have a quick look through the comments section this week. Beowulf says, statement of fact, Full Moon Horror is simply amazing, and he is absolutely right. Remember the special edition of the Primevals came in last week, which is just amazing. BM Squared, hey Dave, loving the series, look forward to a new episode every week, still doing one every week, which is quite remarkable in itself. Terriola says, your fans will soon start sending you stuff, Dave. Yeah, don't send me stuff, I have enough. As you can see, I have more than enough. Jonah Fish, Deadly Games is a favourite of mine and a yearly Christmas watch. Right, that's interesting. Deadly Games, of course, came in last week from Vinegar Syndrome. The French film looks really, really cool, and yeah, I think I will save that till the Santa season and see what it's like. It looks very, very cool, but good to hear that you like it. Daniel Turner says The Perfect Days is his favourite film of 2024. That's interesting. Perfect Days does indeed look a great film, so I can't wait to see that, especially if Daniel says it's pretty good. Indie Phantom Sofa Cinema says, great update, the on-loan rental section is his favourite because it has a diverse lineup of tastes, new and old. Also because there's no video store anywhere in his city since 2016. He says he used to check the shelves of the older sections to see what was renting. A few of my customers do that. They kind of come in and see what's on loan, and it sort of gives them the knowledge that there's other people out there renting similar things, and I think they kind of like that because it's pretty cool. It's cool. It's always good. It's good to have a nose, isn't it, to see what other people are watching. Paul Berryman says, great video, Dave, especially love seeing and hearing about the Primeval set. He's got the local Australian release on order from Umbrella. That Umbrella release looks very good indeed. It'd be interesting to see how it compares to the Full Moon version. But yeah, it's just great to see it getting a release all over the world. It's such an amazing thing. Yeah, Franco-esque, 1 hour and 9 minutes. Christmas comes early. He's such a masochist. Yeah, last week's video was a crazy 69 minutes. Thankfully, this is slightly shorter. But yeah, hopefully not boring you too much. Now, M62 Films mentioned that Aimer was, of course, fantastic, that Rob hired last week. But he said that Let the Corpses Tan was truly amazing. So I haven't heard of that. I haven't got it. He said it was a film that got him out of a slump where every film was boring him the creativity in it just blew his mind. So yeah, I mean, that's a ringing recommendation. So I'll be hunting that one down and recommending it in due course. Deluxe Man Dave, great episode. I wasn't aware of the Primeval set until a friend mentioned it to me, and that's one I'll definitely be checking out when I have sufficient funds. Also didn't know about the Bruceploitation box set, so we're definitely checking that out soon. I hope I'm not costing you too much money. But yeah, they are great sets. Long live physical media, says Dave. On a side note, I know there's a Spanish Blu-ray of the original Sleepaway Camp which I own, but I'm not entirely sure if it's one of those Spanish Blu-rays. I've had to have it though because completionism is a compulsive compulsion I have. Yeah, I understand that. It is frustrating not having that Sleepaway Camp, but having 2 and 3 on Blu-ray when obviously Sleepaway Camp 1 is the far superior film. So yeah, I have to check out that Spanish Blu-ray. Unless anyone else has got it who's watching, then maybe you can pass your thoughts upon it. Carl McLaughlin says the Sleepaway Camp is one of his very favourite slashers. It is. It's so good. He's hoping for a 4K release at some point. But apparently the negatives are lost for the sequels, so the Blu-rays might be the best we get. But that's fine. You know, sometimes we have to admit that the Blu-ray is enough. But sometimes Blu-ray is enough. Yeah, hope it gets a UK disc. Really do. Beowulf again says, how many of your movies are DVD, Blu-ray and 4K UHD? Well, Beowulf, if you go to our Instagram page or our Facebook page, there is a link there which takes you to our online database, and that does give you a split. I think around 16,300 films. I think 12,800 are DVD. I think 3,300 are Blu-ray, and there's about 52 4K UHDs. I don't watch 4K where possible because, to be honest, it hasn't yet struck in to the kind of Joe Blogs everyday customer. So I'm happy with Blu-ray. 4K, yeah, if it's out there. If I'm upgrading from DVD to 4K, then yes, obviously going to be a massive increase in quality. Same with VHS. But to be honest, if it's a Blu-ray to 4K upgrade, sometimes it just doesn't justify the outlay. It just doesn't justify the outlay because it's so much money. And if it's a film I'm only going to watch once or twice, you got to think to yourself, the way I do it is quite logically. I think, how old am I? How many years am I going to be alive for? How many times am I going to watch this film? Can I justify, buying that film or upgrading from Blu-ray to UHD? Is that a justification? And sometimes it isn't. Sometimes, you just got to manage your pennies and think to yourself, well, sometimes DVD is enough. If it's a film that is maybe a 3-star masterpiece, that's fine. That I'm going to maybe watch once for the rest of my life, then DVD will do. I don't really understand this rabid desire to upgrade everything, because everything doesn't necessarily need it. We could do it as collectors. We could do it being a bit more selective. But I know the sort of FOMO kind of thing, that it is pretty strong. But we must resist. Finally, Dr. Impossible of Counterpunk says that Paul Verhoeven would be out of a job in today's sanitised and doctored sex films. He may well, yeah. Just out of interest, did you ever see Verhoeven's The Fourth Man with Jerome Crabb? The Fourth Man, for me, is a very sly and more intricate take on the Basic Instinct format, but told with black humour and some moments of shock added in for good measure that makes the film a compulsive watch. I haven't seen The Fourth Man, Paul. I haven't seen it. Dr. Impossible, rather. So, yeah, I should really make time for that, to be honest. The last Paul Verhoeven film I saw was Spetters, because I had a customer return it, and he said that it contained one of the top 5 buggery scenes he's ever seen, which, coming from a customer, was quite interesting. But yeah, and he's probably right, to be honest. It is a buggery scene of impeccable quality, should you be watching anything for that reason. But yeah, Paul Verhoeven's great, isn't he? superb director. Good. That's all the comments, and let's have a little look at some Sleeping Giants. Finally, this week we have some Sleeping Giants. I'm just going to prefix this with an interesting, well, not an interesting story, but an interesting prefix that kind of underlines why I do this. Because I had, you may be aware that Scarecrow Video in Seattle is the largest video store in the world. Quite an amazing place. 150,000. It's 150,000 films to rent. Remarkable. Some of the stuff they've got there is so rare. Some of them are sold copies, the only copy in existence of certain films. They must, survive. That they're having a bit of a tough time. They're trying to raise a lot of money. They're trying to raise $1.8 million. I'm no financial expert. I don't know the precise details of why they need that sum of money. Certainly, that seems a lot. But anyway, that's by the by, because end of the day, Scarecrow Video must be saved because it's an important archive of very, very rare films. Anyway, the Seattle Times got wind of this, and they published an article backing Scarecrow's campaign and promoting it. And of course, there then comes a comment section which obviously lets rip with all kind of knuckle-dragging knuckleheads who are giving their opinions on, why would we need a video store? And it is absolutely bonkers that people are so thick that they think. One guy in particular said, why would we even need this? Streaming is so much easier, and there's far much more choice. I think it's far more choice for streaming when there's a video store with 150,000 films. I mean, I have just over 10% of what they have, and every week I'm coming up with film after film after film that you can't stream. So if I'm finding so many films here in this place, which has 16,000 films, imagine the thousands and thousands of films at Scarecrow that you will never see on any streaming platform. It's absolutely bonkers. I think the sooner that people get it into their dopey little minds that streaming isn't the new messiah, nor is it a naughty boy. Well, it is a naughty boy, to be honest, because it's gradually increasing its prices year after year after year, and we're getting less and less choice. We have the illusion of choice, but people are falling for it. They're falling for not leaving the house, not going out, not socialising, not talking about films, just staying in their room, watching films by themselves, and mediocre films at that. But hey, let's talk about some good films. We have Blue Jean Cop, which is not streaming in the UK, aka Shakedown. It is, of course, a film by James Glickenhaus, who made some really, really cool films in the 80s. And he had this spell in the 80s of making film after film after film, which is fantastic. The Soldier, for example, The Exterminator. And he did some great work and then kind of backed out of the filmmaking process. But yeah, such a great film. Peter Weller, Sam Elliott. Enough said, really. But yeah, this isn't streaming. And it's such a great film. You should really try and catch it if and where you can. Now, the other two films, we're kind of edging into sentimental territory, which is a dangerous place to go, considering I think the majority of my audience, like it or not, are middle-aged men. But still, we have August Rush. Now, I love this film. It's very, very sentimental. I think it's one of those that split the critics. One critic called it an aggressively bad movie. But it's one of those that I think, the Metascore system on IMDb that kind of collates various critics. I think the Metascore gave it a 38. But the IMDb score is 7.4. That just goes to show the disconnect between the critics and the people actually watching. I think it's a wonderful film. Musically, really, really, really good. And Freddie Highmore, Kerry Russell, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, and Robin Williams. I do like it. I've seen it a couple of times. And when you are in a emotional and fragile state of mind, I thoroughly recommend that film just to finish you off. August Rush, not streaming. And finally, teeny movie, but one that I really, really like. It's called Camp. I can't believe this film isn't streaming, to be honest. Kind of a story about underdogs going to like a talent show camp sort of thing. 2003, I think it was. Oof, 20 years old, crazy. And it's really, really good fun. It's got some great music on there too. Like Todd Rundgren's on the soundtrack, the Wonder Stuff are on the soundtrack. It's very, very good. I don't know why it seems to have drifted into obscurity over the last 20 years, but for some reason it has. And like I say, it's not streaming in the UK. Very good film, so much fun. It's great. So they're the 3 non-streamers for this week, which all could do with a bit more love and attention from customers and viewers alike. So yeah, that is it. Thank you again for watching this week. I hope you found the little segment about our fun commercial quite interesting. And yeah, we'll see you next week, where hopefully we might eventually get round to the spaghetti western section. But we might not, as something inevitably always comes up. But that's it for episode 15, and I will see you in 7 days' time.